So I'm here in Oude, the epicenter of cycling, an absolute bucket list destination for any cyclist who wants to come and take on the roads, the cobbles and the bergs of the Tour of Flanders that the pros will be taking on in 2 days' time on Sunday. Before that, tomorrow, I'll be taking on the Tour of Flanders Sportives, a 160-kilometre route taking in 19 categorised climbs, the Oude Kwaremont, the Paterberg, the Muur van Geraardsbergen, the Koppenberg. Now, I'm no ex-pro cyclist, clearly. When it comes to cycling, I'm a bit of an average Joe, and I've only had about 8 weeks to train properly for this. So, can I get through the Tour of Flanders Sportives? I am determined not to end up on the Connor Dunn scrap heap of GCN people who cannot get through challenges. Come on! That's why I decided to wear a mudguard. To make this ride possible, we teamed up with Wahoo and their software training, Wahoo SYSTM. I've been using that for the last 8 weeks to try and get through a training program. Now, I ticked some of those boxes, not all of them. I had my ups and downs throughout those 8 weeks. So if you haven't checked that video out already, please do so now. I won't bore you with all the details again. It's safe to say I've done lots of training and I feel ready. When our friends at Orbea found out I was about to take on the Tour of Flanders, they sent me a brand new bike, an Orca. It's got Ultegra Di2, Pirelli tubeless tyres and carbon wheels. Really nice. Not really an average bike for an average Joe, so I'm feeling like a very lucky boy. So anybody can come along and ride these roads whenever they want, at any time of year. That's the really great thing about cycling, that you can just come along and ride the same roads that the pros are going to do in the Tour of Flanders next Sunday. What I'm less excited about is the weather forecast. It's due to rain. So if I wasn't nervous before, I'm extremely nervous now. Excited, but nervous. I think I better go and get some sleep.
The route starts here in Oude and heads east. It then wiggles through Flandrian countryside, hitting some less celebrated bergs first, like the Molenberg, the Lieberg and the Berendries. The first big iconic one doesn't come until the most eastern point on the route at the 65-kilometre mark, the Muur van Geraardsbergen. And then we start to head northwest until we reach the steepest berg of all, the Koppenberg. After that, we head for the Taaienberg, the Kruisberg, and then finally onto the double whammy finale of the Oude Kwaremont, followed by the Paterberg, with then an easy run-in back to Oude. It's 160 kilometres long with close to 2,000 metres of climbing. And if you'd like to ride the route in your own time, we leave a link to the ride on Strava in the description below this video.
So here we are now. It's 6:30 and it's raining. Although it's not as bad as it could be, because I was a bit late to bed last night, later than I would want, and I fell asleep, and then I got woken up at 2 a.m. with the rumble of rain in the hotel room. Actually woke me up. It was that bad, and I was hiding under the covers thinking, what am I doing? This is going to be terrible. But by the time I woke up to get up, it wasn't too bad. Although it is due to get brighter, I think. But I think it's going to be guaranteed that the cobbles, all of the climbs are going to be wet, whether it's raining now or not between now and then. So I'm going to have to try and remember what Mr. Richardson told me about riding cobbles in the wet. Keep my bum on the saddle and, what did he say? Don't go too fast. Don't think there'll be any problem there. Ready to go, 2 minutes to go. And there's only 5 kilometres until the first climb, which is a bit scary. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. Go! Here we go! Well, I'm riding on cobbles, and it's inducing bowel movements. It's very wobbly. But I've gone over the first kind of major berg, the Molenberg, and it took me by surprise a little. Came out of nowhere, although it was signposted, so I've no excuses. So I had to gear down quite quickly, but I quite enjoyed it. Got up without walking. Cobbles are slippy, but yeah, getting the authentic Flandrian experience, I think. So a few people keep asking me, have I got a time in mind for today? And the answer is no. I just want to finish it. But I do have a plane to catch. I'm booked onto a 9 o'clock from Brussels back to Ireland, so I can't hang around too much or I'll miss Easter Sunday with the kids. So Simon Richardson suggested that I pick out 2 or 3 of the more iconic climbs on the route to give it full beans, just to say I did.
You want to give it full gas on a couple.
And I'm having second thoughts about that plan. I think I'll just, I don't know. There's still a few hours to go before I get to the iconic ones. I might reassess then, but for the moment, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take it easy and get over them. The weather is supposed to have cleared up by now, but it's getting worse. So I forgot that part. This is one of the non-cobbled ones, the Lieberg. So I've done about 45 kilometers, and this is about 800 meters with sections of 13%, I think. But this is exactly the type of climb that's everywhere near my house where I live in Cork. So non-cobbled 500 to 800 meter climbs with, 8 to 13%. Easy peasy. Just seeing the crisscrossing of the landscape and the kind of noodle route that we take, it really does make you appreciate when people say that people like Andreas Clear and Peter Van Petegem, who has won this race twice, that they know the roads. I always used to kind of shrug and think, oh yeah, they all know the roads. But it's very easy to imagine living here your entire life and not really knowing these roads. They just go everywhere. It's a labyrinth. It's unbelievable. So it's really starting to appreciate how much the kind of, local knowledge that gets spoken about when it comes to winning the Tour of Flanders, how much it really does matter. So I'm on the Muur van Geraardsbergen, the wall of Geraardsbergen, and in the iconography of cycling, this is up there with Alpe d'Huez or the Arenberg Forest in Roubaix, and for me, one of the most iconic images that comes to mind whenever I think about legendary cycling moments is the 2010 Tour of Flanders, when Fabian Cancellara and Tom Boonen were on this climb. And it was so great because they were both national champions at the time. Cancellara in his Swiss champions jersey and Tom Boonen, the champion of Belgium. And Cancellara just powered away from Boonen in the saddle around the corner at the top near the chapel. Can't quite believe I'm here. Very exciting. Whoa, it's starting to pinch now. Whoa, crash up there. You all right? Oh, Jesus. Oh. There it is. The chapel, fantastic. Love it, absolutely love this. So I'm just over the top of the Muur van Geraardsbergen, done nearly 70 kilometers, been riding for 3 hours and 15 minutes. So the race to catch my plane later on is going pretty well, I think. I'm getting cocky now.
Next up was the Koppenberg, a climb so treacherous that it's been removed from the Tour of Flanders route a couple of times over the years because it's just been too dangerous. Up in front of me, I could see the 22% slope claiming almost every rider. But there were a few heroes managing to wiggle their way through the crowd. Could I do it? Could I be one of them and get to the top of this infamous brute without putting my foot down? Or would I become just another dejected, cobbled wannabe, defeated and cast aside by the Koppenberg?
Guy just clipped out in front of me and that was that. Had to put my foot down. So I'm a bit gutted. Thought I was doing okay. It's really slimy. Carnage. Everybody's walking around. Wow, that didn't take much. I don't feel too bad though. There's nobody cycling. Should have put in more practice walking up cobble climbs. This is the Taaienberg, aka the Boonenberg, because Tom Boonen would attack here every year in an attack that would always come to nothing. But he did it anyway every year. I'm over the hardest of it. So there's 110 kilometers in the legs now, and there's more than 40k to go. And this is when my thighs really start to hurt. And in order to distract myself from the pain, I start doing this type of thing in my head, which is listing race winners. So since we're in Flanders, here goes with the Tour of Flanders. Pogacar, Van der Poel, Asgreen, Van der Poel, Bettiol, Terpstra, Gilbert, Sagan, Christophe, Cancellara, Boonen, Noyens, Cancellara, De Volder, Balan, Boonen, Vesseman, Van Petegem, Taffy, Bortolami, Schmil, Van Petegem, Museu, Sorensen, Bartoli, Museu, Bunyo, Museu, Jackie Durand, Van Hooijdonk, Argentin, Van Hooijdonk, Plankart, Claude Cillian, Adrie van der Poel, Eric van der Arden, and then I was born! I was born a few weeks after Claude Cillian, who won this race in 1987, a few weeks after he became world champion. And I've always wondered, has my dad sneakily got that name past my mum when I was born? Claude Cillian Kelly. I've always wanted to ask my dad that. I must find out. One thing I definitely learned about myself during the Etape de Tour a couple of years ago was that I have an incredible ability to smash as many gels into my body as I like without suffering bowel consequences. So here's it. I have no idea how many I've had today. I'd say it's 10 or 11. Here's number 12. Oh, lovely. Some people can climb, some people can sprint. I apparently can eat as many gels as I want with no consequences. That's why I decided to wear a mud guard. The Oude Kwaremont. It's where the big attacks, the big race-winning moves go since they changed the route in 2012, including Pogacar last year when he blew up everybody, well, blew up Van der Poel. And This is actually the only climb I've been on before. Kind of unbelievably, the reason that I was on this climb was I was in Johan Museeu's house. He lives on the Oude Kwaremont, which is kind of like finding out that Roger Federer lives on centre court in Wimbledon, or finding out Tiger Woods lives beside the 18th green at Augusta. So I think Johan Museeu lives over there somewhere. Come on, 2 to go. Whoa. Come on! Oh, 1 to go. My back wheel is all over the place. Oh.
Allez, take me first, go! Droite à droite!
Just too slippy. I nearly got there. Just about a kilometre to go. This is the run into Oudenaarde, where the winner would be trying to hold off the pack. It'll be Matthew van der Poel, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm gonna make it. I didn't quite get over the Paterberg without getting off. I was under geared and my back wheel was slipping. I just couldn't do it. It's too slippy. Really disappointed with that. But quite happy. I'm gonna make it to the finish anyway. Woo.
For anyone, like me, interested in numbers, I rode 158.2 kilometres over 19 hills with a total elevation gain of 1,989 metres. I managed to get round in a ride time of 7 hours and 37 minutes, so that doesn't include all the faffing about at the food stops and all that. I did this with an average power of just 108 watts, which Strava tells me gives a weighted average power of 141 watts. This was all done at an average speed of 20.7 kilometres per hour. I hope these modest numbers show that really, if I can do an event like this, anyone can.
So I did it. I finished the Tour of Flanders Sportive, 160 kilometres. Absolutely delighted with myself. Bit disappointed that I had to put the foot down and walk on the Koppenberg and the Paterberg, but it does make me want to come back one day and do them maybe when the climbs are a bit quieter and there's less traffic, and I'll get a free run at them. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Thanks so much to Wahoo for giving me the training program. It clearly worked. Thanks to Orbea for giving me the bike. That clearly worked as well. No punctures, no mechanicals. Absolutely perfect. Dream ride. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you've ridden the Tour of Flanders, because I've got a huge new appreciation for every single one of these climbs. So any anecdotes you have, fill the comments with them and I will appreciate them so much more now. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up.